All right, let's get right into it. Have you felt it too? That weird sense of déjà vu when you're browsing the web? It's like you're visiting the same website over and over and over again, just with a different logo slapped on top. Well, today we're going to talk about why that's happening, and more importantly, how you can use these super powerful AI tools to actually stand out from the crowd, not just blend right in.
So, take a hard look and ask yourself, is your website guilty of this, or the one you're building right now? It's a really easy trap to fall into, mainly because adding all these effects is now easier than it has ever been before.
And this brings us to a perfect term for what's going on: AI design slop. Look, it's not that any of these design elements are bad on their own. The real problem is that AI tools have made them so incredibly easy to generate, so widespread, that they're losing all their meaning, all their originality, and honestly, they're losing all their impact.
And what are the symptoms? Oh, you've seen them. I guarantee it. We're talking about that endless sea of purple gradients on every new tech site. Those fade-in animations where content just appears from nowhere. Hover effects that don't actually help you do anything. And of course, the websites that hijack your scroll bar or have buttons that literally chase your mouse around the screen.
So what's the deal? Why is this happening right now and so fast? What's the engine behind this massive move toward everything looking the same? Let's break it down.
You know, it used to be that if a really cool website started a new design trend, it would take months, maybe even a whole year, for other sites to copy it and for it to spread. But now, a trend can blow up in a week. So, what changed? Well, it's this crazy fast feedback loop. Here's how it works. A cool new site launches with a slick purple gradient and gets really popular. The AI models, the ones that are trained on all the popular good stuff on the internet, they see this. So the next week, when 10,000 people ask an AI to build them a website, what do you think it spits out? Yep, that same purple gradient. And the result of all this, the speed and the convenience that AI gives us, well, it's coming at a huge cost. Our brand identity. Your website is supposed to be your company's front door, right? But when your front door looks exactly like every other one on the block, you completely lose what makes you special. All right, so let's get into the first big category of these AI design mistakes. We'll call it design that distracts. These are all the bells and whistles that might look technically impressive, but they actually make it harder for a visitor to figure out what you're even trying to say. And we see these everywhere. You know those little animated lines that follow you down the page as you scroll? Or buttons that literally run away from your cursor? Or maybe some shooting meteor effects whizzing around in the background. My eyes are being pulled to the animation, not the actual headline I'm supposed to be reading. And here's the thing. You would never spend a week of a developer's time coding these from scratch. They only exist because an AI can pop them in with a single click. And this brings us to what might be the most important rule of thumb here. The sheer ease of AI means your job as a creator has fundamentally changed. You're not just a builder anymore. You have to be a ruthless editor. Just because you can add a flashy effect doesn't mean you should. Okay, next up are the things that go beyond just distraction and actually start to confuse people. I'm talking about interactive elements that break the basic, unwritten rules of how we all expect a website to work. Let's talk about hover effects. For decades, what has a hover effect meant? It's a signal, right? It says, hey, you can click this thing. It makes a button glow or get bigger or change color. But a really common AI-generated trend is to do the exact opposite, to make a button fade away when you move your mouse over it. That's completely backwards. It sends a signal to your brain to move away, not to click.
You know, this just flies in the face of a core principle of good design. I'm sure you've heard this. Steve Jobs famously said he wanted to make the buttons on the screen look so appealing and so obviously clickable that they were lickable. Your website should invite people to interact, not make them second-guess what to do.
And it doesn't stop with hover effects. We see scroll jacking, which is when the website takes over your scroll bar and makes it feel like you're trying to wade through molasses just to get down the page. Or what about those fade-in effects that are so slow, if you scroll a little too fast, you blow right past the content before it's even had a chance to appear? These are classic no-nos in user experience, and now AI is serving them up on a platter.
Okay, I know this all sounds pretty negative, but it's not all bad news. Not even close. Because when you use it thoughtfully, AI isn't about automating bad design. It's about augmenting your own creativity. It can help you do things that, until recently, would have been way too expensive or time-consuming. So what does it look like when this goes right? Well, the new.ai website has this fantastic example with these animated cards.
This right here is where AI power is used for genuine brand building and delight, not just for some cheap gimmick.
So why is this so good? Well, first off, it's not just a random animation. It actually reinforces their brand. They're a company that tests video games, and the cards show these cool multiplayer controllers. It's creative, it's fun, and it strengthens their message. A high-quality effect like this would have been a real pain to code by hand, but with AI, it's totally achievable. It adds real value, instead of just adding noise.
So this all leads us to the biggest question, right? How do you actually take these new superpowers and use them for good? The key really is to completely shift your mindset about your role in the process.
Your job is no longer to do all the tedious manual labor of coding and design. Instead, your new and most critical job is to be the person with taste, the person with judgment and strategy. It is absolutely not your job to just click accept all changes. That's right, you are the editor. Think of the AI as your team of incredibly fast but sometimes clueless junior designers. Your job is to direct them, to curate their best ideas, throw out the bad ones, and make the final call on what actually serves your brand and your users.
So here's your playbook. Number 1, start with strategy. Don't just accept the AI's default purple gradient. No, you feed it your brand colors, your fonts, your design principles first. 2, be an opinionated editor. Question every single thing it suggests. 3, quality assurance on everything. AI can be weird and introduce subtle bugs, and you are the last line of defense. And finally, number 4, use all that time you just saved. Instead of messing with code, you can now focus on what really matters, your messaging and your story, because that's what turns visitors into customers.
And at the end of the day, that leaves us with a really big question. As these tools get more and more powerful, making it easier than ever to copy and paste and make everything look the same, who's responsible for keeping the web a creative and original and interesting place? Well, that responsibility falls more and more on us, the human editors. The only question left is, are we ready for the job?